I used World War I tactics to survive Armageddon in Total Warhammer 3. I don't know what that means, but okay. By the way, I just want you guys to know, I don't know if you can tell from the sound of my voice, but like the tism is strong today. So if we go on a tangent about that train that I really like, be mentally prepared for that. There is a train and it is very cool. And I haven't stopped thinking about it all week. I don't know what's wrong with me other than yes. But we're gonna watch a video. In 3, 2, 1.
Gentlemen, I have one question. When you visualize Warhammer, do you see machine gun nests mowing down hordes of the undead? Maybe war zeppelins dropping bombs on confused Frenchmen? Or even thousands of soldiers simultaneously suffering from trench foot? Well, you should, because today we're going to be using the technology and tactics of a certain 20th century military power to conquer the world. But having both of our feet amputated will be the least of our concerns, because on turn 100, chaos portals will open all over the map, unleashing thousands of demons with an intense desire to consume our vital organs. Can we become a military superpower and overcome this cataclysmic event? Or will we be subjugated by our demonic overlords? There's only one way to know. But first, a word from our sponsor, War Thunder. It's a game with an impressive collection of over 2,000 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships, which you can use to decimate your friends regardless of which team they're on. Personally, I like to turn off my weapon systems and just use myself as the explosive. In this regard, hypersonic jets are the most effective option. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, with dynamic and detailed damage models.
So
when I crash my
F-16
into the side of a T-34 tank at 2,000 kilometers an hour, I get a complex breakdown of exactly why I am no longer alive. The customization is impeccable. Zooming in to read manga off the side of a Japanese tank, simply incredible. Finally, the graphics are so good I've suffered a mental break and I don't know what's real anymore. Play War Thunder for free on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. If you use my link in the comments, you'll get a bonus pack with free stuff. And if you don't use it, I'll find you. Here we are in the lovely old world. It's very much the same, except Karl Franz is now an ultra-nationalist, and he...
I should like preface, I should like end all of my like sponsor stuff with that too. If you don't use my code, I'll find you. I'll fucking do it. Don't play War Thunder. See, the only reason why I won't play War Thunder is because I know my money would go to that, and I really shouldn't. I really shouldn't. You know? I unfortunately, I should be a responsible adult. Like, I was like doing my taxes, okay? Tax season's in March. It's January. The anxiety in me had me doing my taxes on the 2nd of January. I should be a responsible adult and not play the really funny tank game, okay?
He's wearing a pickle hob. Normally, the Empire operates as a collection of city-states that eventually confederate through a series of popularity contests. It's a little like democracy, which is nice, because democracy is a system by the people and for the people.
But the people are retarded.
And I don't have time for such political machinations, so instead, we'll be doing all of our diplomacy with the business end of a machine gun. We start by introducing ourselves to our neighbors. Hello, and goodbye. I know these tactics might seem excessive, but we need to aggressively develop our empire if we want to have any hope of surviving Armageddon, because I may have put it on max difficulty. With our first enemy defeated, we can now recruit some conscripts. They're our weakest unit, and they're also preposterously expensive, but with a bit of focus fire, they can assassinate enemy generals in one volley. So, not bad. Clearly, we're going for quality over quantity. Our campaign started off quite well. We bounced around Reichland, liberating settlements from the tyrannical Polish menace. So impressive was our blitzkrieg that a beast wizard wanted to join the army. I know he may appear to be some kind of homeless schiz.
Is that the personification of America? I want one. What? That's literally that is what countries outside of America think all Americans look like. That's what people think. It's insane. What the hell is that? What the hell is that hat? How does the beak not get in your like face? He has a sword and no gun though. True, that's not a gun. If he were a true American, he'd be carrying like an AR-15.
schizophrenic, but he's actually just your average Los Angeles man. So I let him join our crusade. Now, in an effort to immediately bankrupt my own government, I decided to start building a second army led by the legendary General Wilhelm von Zollerhorn. And yes, I did Google that name to see if he was associated with any genocides. Surprisingly, he was not. Wilhelm is great because unlike Karl, his talent tree actually buffs our modern units. And you better believe I'm going to specialize him entirely into tank warfare. But we don't have any tanks yet. In fact, all we have are people who wanted to be here slightly more than they wanted to be in a military prison. So let's get back on track. After finishing off the Empire secessionists, we received a quest to defend this beach from an amphibious landing of Vikings. Unfortunately for the Vikings, the beach they are landing on is Normandy Beach, because we have just unlocked light machine gun nests. And as you may imagine, a band of naked Norwegians is no match for the 1,200 rounds per minute coming out of these guns. After completing our revisionist history at Normandy, I decided to declare war on Emil von Corden. Why would I do that? Because no one can stop me. Emil's forces were difficult to defeat because there were 2,500 of them. But now there's not. This gives us ownership over one of the mountain passes, which will help us control our borders, especially when the demons arrive. While this was going on, Wilhelm was starting up a war on the Eastern Front, and things were going pretty well. However, we were starting to run into some growing pains. As it turns out, ignoring your faction's game mechanics in favor of ultra-violence is not a wise decision, because after declaring war on 2 people just for fun, everyone thinks I'm clinically insane, and our popularity is plummeting. Much like a high school girl, without popularity, Karl's empire starts to physically decompose. So to correct this economic tailspin, we need to increase our approval rating. To achieve that, we will stop fighting humans and instead focus on killing creatures of the night, such as the elderly. Unfortunately, Eben von Leibowitz didn't get this memo, and he attacked Wilhelm with 3,000 units. Now, machine guns are very strong, but as it turns out, they have their limitations, and we got absolutely massacred. This was a small but detectable setback in our plans. With my army destroyed, Durthu took the opportunity to demand financial restitution from us, despite the fact I've never even talked to him before. I'll be honest, it really damages my confidence to be successfully extorted by sentient plant matter, and
I didn't realize there were trees. Were there trees? Chat, I think I've seen a movie that was like this. Like I never really thought about it, but holy shit. Technically, yeah, in like most of Total War Warhammer, you're fighting the elderly. Have I just been evil this whole time? Like, the Hobbit? No, but I know the Ensar thing, but I didn't realize there were treants in like I don't know why I almost said Trevenant. No, I didn't realize there were treants in like Total War Warhammer. I don't know why I forgot. I mean, it's Warhammer. Oh my god, we're fighting the elderly. We're the bad people. No, but if the elderly declare war on us, then is it really our fault? Oh my god. We can't fight people our age, so we fight a 7-year-old. Oh my god. We're the bad guys. That's the thing of Warhammer, similar to 40k, you just have to choose your favorite war crime. Oh, okay. So we're either like hyper racist or we're just fighting the elderly. There's no middle ground. So does this mean you're going to super hell, Miwa? I guess. Are 3,000-year-old elves considered elderly? Well, if I guess so. I guess so. You only just realized? Yeah, I only just realized because I was like, oh shit, Total Warhammer. Game is fun. I like this game a lot. And now I know I'm actually evil. Aw, man. No, they're elderly. Okay, but if we fight the vampires, then like... If we fight the vampires, then aren't they also elderly? Because like, you know, they won't die and shit. Wait. We're having an existential crisis right now. Being old doesn't stop murder psychopaths being any less evil themselves. That's true, that's true. I mean, if a 70-year-old man tries to fight you on the street, do you just take the blows or defend yourself? But is killing knife ears really bad though? You called them knife ears. You've picked the racism side and not the geriatric murder side. Like you're leaning more to the racism side and not the geriatric murder, bro. How can you beat up the elderly, commit war crimes and all this, but not beat up Jubal Khan? He's not even old, he's just crippled. You monster. I mean, that's like fighting the guy from the Baki meme of the guy like that's you know, just on the hospital bed. Like, what do? Pick him up and throw him on the ground? That's fucked up and evil. Yeah, I'm either. Oh my god! I just realized. Wait. In total, okay, so if I'm playing a faction that kills like the Skaven, is that animal abuse? Oh my god! We're just choosing different flavors of like fucked up and evil shit.
I won't be forgetting this, but for now, we can't afford another war. Now, it's not all bad, because the Beastmen just completed their end of a suicide pact by running headfirst into my capital, and this gave us a nice little chunk of change. In fact, money is at a bit of a premium in my empire, because if I want to recruit a super heavy tank, it's going to cost me thousands of gold. Fortunately, I found a few ways to make money. For example, I struck up a trade deal with this lovely wood elf lady.
Shh, don't tell, but I think I want to kill her.
Aside from that, we've just been completing quests, trading with the Chinese, and stealing Heinrich Kemmler's social security checks. Speaking of Heinrich, the war is going quite well. Much like the Beastmen, he fell into the trap of driving himself into a wood chipper at 300 kilometers per hour. And since then, I've been using light tanks to carve my way through his territory. Truly, there is no cleaner pleasure than watching machine gun fire tear into hordes of the undead. Our campaign culminated in the siege of Castle Artois. It was kind of awkward because we have almost no melee units, and we can't really shoot them effectively from this angle, so I settled on using some breaching charges to open the castle gates. From here, I just let my tank sit down in front of the door and shoot anyone who attempted to move from here to here. It was a little like Red Rover, except the stakes were a lot higher because angry Germans are shooting at you with machine guns. Eventually, we won, but clearly, I'm going to have to invest in some heavy artillery going forward. At this point, all of our initial enemies are dead, so it's a good time to assess our position in the world. It's turn 33, we occupy a thin band of regions along the southwest. I was hoping to have the entire empire conquered by turn 40, so it's safe to say we're a little behind schedule, but I'm confident that our rapidly developing military technology will help us catch up. For example, Wilhelm recently acquired a new mount. Is it a horse or even a dog sled pulled by children? No, it's a bulletproof Mercedes-Benz with a machine gun mounted on the roof.
Okay, hold up. Why were the seats so plush though? What the heck was that? Hey, he's a nerd, okay? Trust. We're just chill guys, and apparently bro wants to run hit first into the capital. That's on him. They had to be plush, no suspension or airtight. Oh, that does make sense. Like, your butt's gonna be uncomfy, huh? Need fancy seating when you're taking out the ops? Like, you got that, like, premium, like, leather shit on those seats, huh? I like how this meant to be fancy. It's just a whole car. I think they mod it in, like, actual, like World War One, like an actual like World War One army. It's kind of insane.
I'd like to see Vlad von Karstein compete with this. Speaking of Vlad, he's going to be our next target. He owns a lot of territory, and unfortunately for him, most of the Geneva Conventions do not apply to reanimated corpses, so I should lose no popularity by eviscerating him with hundreds of landmines. However, the orcs were blocking my path into Sylvania, so I had to grapple with the serious moral dilemma of whether I should shoot them to death or cover them in napalm. I chose both. It was all going very well, because the orc military philosophy consists exclusively of screaming and running headfirst into bullets. The undead were experiencing a similar issue. Usually, they throw bodies at you until you become exhausted. But luckily for us, bullets do not get tired. The only problem we ran into was that the ghosts are ethereal, so roughly half of our bullets go right through them. But I am a firm believer in just shooting them twice as much. So we plowed forward, capturing Grenstadt, Schwarzhaven, and Fort Obersteyr. And just as my military conquest was about to send me over the edge into an erection-induced coma, tragedy struck.
That's not real, is it? Erection-induced comas are not real, right?
Hi besties, it's me, Miwa, and if you're enjoying today's video, please consider subscribing, okay? Like, please, times 1 billion. I'm like, really asking this of you, ne?
I don't know why I heard that phrase and went, oh god. Save yourselves, chat. Any problem that can't be solved by gun just needs more gun. Technically, who knows? I don't have a dick. I don't know. Oh my god, he's fighting Ikit Claw right now. My head's blocking it, but he's fighting Ikit Claw. He's literally my ops. Oh.
And Scryer declared war on me. It's alright though, they're strength rank 21 and we're rank 2, so surely they won't invade me with 3 armies, you son of a bitch. You look like a smart guy, so I probably don't have to tell you, but this is really bad. Because for every Skaven we can see, there are probably 10 that we can't. With all of my generals tied up in the east, Ikit Claw had a fantastic time detonating nuclear devices on my peasant militias. To make the situation even more embarrassing, the orcs actually started defeating us by changing their army composition. Did they also develop heavy machine guns, you may ask? Nope, not even close. They just put themselves on pigs and drove into my gun line really fast. The only silver lining to all of this was that I convinced Balthazar Gelt to confederate with me, which expanded my borders considerably. Naturally, this decimated my economy because AI build their empires in the same way a recently lobotomized man builds a helicopter, which is to say, not very well. Anyway, after sorting that out, I sent Gelt back to deal with the Skaven, and
I never thought about that, but like, yeah, like I should get rid of some of my armies because they're kind of bad. Me, you have the third Sidra. It's not always there, bestie. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't think about it, but he's so right. Total Warhammer. Like, I need to go back and fix my armies because they're not doing so hot, and like that kind of blows.
since he is a wizard of metal, I gave him some very heavy metal to work with. Aside from that, Wilhelm went on a paid vacation to the lovely city of Skavenblight to burn it to the ground and stomp on the ashes. Our capture of Skavenblight could be compared to cutting the head off the chicken that is Clan Scryer. The issue is that the body is still thrashing around and shitting all over my territory. However, after 10 turns and several doses of lorazepam, we had finally finished them off. In their place, I installed several puppet governments that were loyal to me. I can't be everywhere at once, but having multiple semi-competent allies spread across the map should be enough. At this point, my blood pressure was finally starting to normalize again, so obviously the ogres decided to rectify that by declaring war and attacking me with 3 gigantic armies.
Oh,
At
he's
this
literally
moment,
my
the game
friend,
expects
though,
me to just roll over and accept my dick flattening like a good boy, but I said no. I'm fighting this battle, and I'm not going to stop pissing myself until I win. We took up a defensive position atop this hill, and I started skirmishing with my tanks. The ogre race is an exciting experiment in determining just how much fat a body can accommodate before it ruptures at the seams, which makes them incredibly easy to shoot with a rifle. Even better than that, I found I could use my tanks to blob the enemies up, at which point my heavy machine guns would start tearing them apart. It was a bit of a messy process, but eventually we managed to shoot, bludgeon, and explode the ogres to death. As a thank you to Scrag for being such a good sport about the whole ogre genocide thing, I decided to travel into his territory, burn his castle down, and install a xenophobic city-state in its place. Now back to business. Vlad von Karstein is technically still alive, but his empire is dying, so we're going to administer some end-of-life care by caving in his cranium. This was fairly easy because I now have access to Pioneer infantry, which can construct razor wire, MG nests, mortars, and anti-aircraft bunkers for free. It takes a lot of time, but the undead aren't exactly in a hurry. In fact, they're having a hard time moving at all, because Wilhelm upgraded his mount, and he's now flying above the battlefield in a war blimp, dropping cinder blocks and lawn darts on our enemies as they approach. Excited by the idea of blimp supremacy, I decided to recruit several Imperial war blimps to help me clean up some Viking villages. They're stronger, considerably more phallic, and each one has 10 bombs they can deploy for massive damage. The Norwegians attempted to counter this by throwing axes into the sky. Not only did this tactic not work, it actually made me bomb them even harder. At this point, I've managed to narrow down what the actually good units are, and things are starting to move pretty fast. Some orcs declared war on us, we beat the daylights out of poor Festus, hired the Red Baron, who is apparently a melee specialist, despite being in a biplane, killed some wood elves while no one was looking, used rocket launchers to defeat Pope Francis in a quest battle, and most importantly, we implemented government-mandated crystal meth for all of my soldiers, which is clearly evident by the way my machine gunners are currently tweaking out in between volleys.
That's literally me, bro. What do you mean? That's literally me. Guys, the blimps are really fucking funny. Oh, I actually love this. I actually really like this mod. What the hell? Those blimps are so funny. It's so over. They did it from Plate 2. Guys. I don't know if they're from Kislev or what, but like them just throwing axes is so sad. Oh, the blimps are so good though.
this point, it's
10
turn
out of
70,
10.
and we control almost all Empire territory. Our only active enemies are the Norskins, the Orcs, and some British guy. However, the Chaos invasion will be coming soon, so it's time to start preparing. One of the most dangerous components of the invasion is that it spawns Chaos portals all over the world, which is like an open invitation for demons to remove your limbs. My plan is to construct several of these buildings across my territory. They prevent Chaos rifts from spawning, and if I pull this off just right, we will be the only faction in the entire world that isn't immediately decimated by hordes of demons. Now, I like my plan, and it should buy us some time. However, we will still have to fight our enemies at some point. To this end, I've ordered the construction of several super heavy class weapons. This is a super heavy mortar. For reference, here it is next to our previous generation of artillery, and now here it is turning a group of goblins into fertilizer. So, yeah, we also have this. I know it looks like a tank, but it's actually a Morse code transmitter. The signal is carried by a 40-pound high explosive shell. The receiver is located somewhere inside this man's gray matter, and the message is death.
Oh!
Finally, the Imperial Sky Destroyer. I haven't even used this one yet, but it cost me 20,000 gold to recruit and another 5,000 for upkeep, so I'm hoping this will be our secret weapon against the apocalypse.
What the
While
fuck?
my new units were recruiting, I spent the next couple of turns testing out different weapons. Here are some of my favorites. A mobilized anti-aircraft gun. It's fairly good at killing flying units, but I prefer to use it to execute political prisoners at close range. Helicopters. They're quick, fire explosive rockets, and you can land them to refuel their ammo. Very cool. Finally, we have colonial infantry. Each one can build 3 dirt walls that provide them cover and prevent the enemy from advancing. Of course, it doesn't take long for you to realize you can abuse this mechanic to instantly create an impenetrable fortress of dirt that puzzles even the most intelligent chaos giants. You may be wondering how I experimented with all these war machines. Quite simple, really. I took them across the water and found that the Vikings were very willing to let me test my weapons on them. And by very willing, I mean they weren't able to stop me. Turns out it wasn't climate change that killed the mammoth, it was natural predators such as carnivorous flights of biplanes. Anyway, our extensive research and development program was actually generating us a lot of money, and the Empire had entered into something of a golden age. Wars were going well, money was flowing, and the Empire was blossoming. Basically, there has never been a better time to be a citizen living in the Empire. Doom is coming. Destroying all in its path. The end is nigh. You know what? Don't worry about that. I'm sure it's fine. On a completely unrelated note, I'm going to start drafting a few thousand people into the army now. We're on the final stretch at this point, and I'm just getting everything prepared. I imagine the literal apocalypse may slightly influence the Empire stock market, so I've saved up plenty of cash, recruited extra armies, and set up 2 layers of walls in all of my settlements. I finished out the next 10 turns fairly relaxed. The only excitement was when we were attacked by Leopold Wolf. For those of you who don't know, Mr. Wolf is an avid collector of traumatic brain injuries. How do I know this? Because I'm the one giving them to him. I don't know much about him, but he's very upset that I own the moot. And every 5 or 10 turns he shows up and starts screaming at me about taking the moot pill. I don't know what that means, so naturally I shot him with an anti-tank rifle. Other than that, we were ambushed by a large quantity of ogres. In case you are wondering, this is what a man's face looks like when he knows he's about to be spit roasted by murderous fat men. Actually, never mind. I was giving General Booger too much credit, but then again, it's hard to command your troops when you are dead. I took this incursion as an opportunity to use my flamethrowers to carve up the ogre kingdom and redistribute it to my vassal.
Oh no, I really want to play this now. Wait, unmodded dwarves have blimps? This is so good though. Oh, this is so fun. What's more fun than jamming square pegs into circular holes? I am a big fan of the fact that we can be fucked up and evil. What kind of spit roast? I don't know. But, you know, not the kind I want to be in. Shit, I'm just a girl.
I know this may seem like an overly violent solution to an otherwise mundane problem, but when you are a walking tank of napalm, suddenly every problem looks like a Vietnamese rice farmer. Turn 99. Things are good. Our southern border is protected by several military allies. The north is protected by Kislev and the Tree People, and everything else is protected by this. I went to sleep on turn 99 with a smile on my face, feeling safe and secure, but suddenly, dark and twisted visions crept into my mind. Eldritch abominations, legions of chaos warriors, and above all else, one very angry little man. I woke up in a cold sweat, frantically searching around my empire for the chaos invasion, but it's fine. There's nothing here. Oh wait. Nope. There it is. There are a total of 75 fully leveled hostile Chaos armies on the map, and as it turns out, they're hosting a destination wedding in Altdorf, because they're all headed straight for me. Truly, it is time to summon the Elector Counts. Actually, never mind. They're all dead, and we killed them. Well, at least our preparations worked, and we have no Chaos portals in our territory, so that should buy us some time. Anyway, good luck everyone else. Now, first things first, Festus has willed himself back into existence, and he also brought 10 of his friends from the homeless shelter to come kill me. However, I anticipated this and brought 8 of my friends, which means the ultimate battle between modern firepower and disgusting freaks is about to unfold. I kicked it off with 4 of my best armies against 4 of theirs. We deployed our forces and began setting up on the high ground. I was worried they might rush us, but there appeared to be some gentleman's agreement that we would both wait for our reinforcements to arrive. This is what that looked like on my side. Howitzers, tanks, machine guns, armored cars, blimps, and of course, a shitload of infantry. On their side, whatever this is. We were in a bit of a standoff by this point, but fortunately only one of us had chemical weapons, and surprisingly it wasn't Festus. So I began pounding my enemies with poison-filled shells. This achieved some level of neuron activation, and they started plowing across the field toward me. Our lines were very neatly formed, and we were picking hundreds of them off with each volley, but within minutes it was absolute chaos. Giant insects chasing down heavy tanks, danger close artillery, blimps erupting into flames, giant balls of molten lead plowing across the battlefield, and most importantly, a very unfortunate amount of men being hacked apart by great axes. Luckily, we were able to volley fire the enemy leadership until they more closely resembled a spaghetti strainer than a human being. And with that taken care of, the Chaos forces began to fold. After about 18 minutes, they were in full retreat, and the post-battle screen looked like this. We completed this routine 3 more times to kill Festus and eliminate his faction. It was a victory for mankind, but
they're called the Fecundites? What the fuck does that even mean? This is a worry, so I love this mod. This mod is so good. I'm like, these guys look friendly. They all look friendly. What do you mean? This mod is so goofy. I love it. I'll take 10.
But one thing has become clear. This is not sustainable. My armies are in shambles, and there's still 50 Chaos Legions barreling down on us. Fortunately, we do have a chance. You see, when I enabled this endgame crisis, I toggled a setting called Faction Doom. Basically, the Chaos factions are incredibly strong. However, if we can manage to defeat their main general in combat, the rest of their empire will start to crumble. So I don't have to fight all of this, I just have to find and kill each leader before it's too late. Our first target, Archaon. He's the strongest faction, and also in a surprisingly vulnerable position. I used Festus's portal to take Carl, Gelt, and Claude Dogburglar? Okay, whatever. I teleported them across the map and started a battle with Archaon. He was very strong, but I have yet to find a man who was able to withstand being shot by 1900 rifles. So anyway, he died. And next turn, we had our proof of concept, because he went from being strength rank 1 to rank 89, and all of his armies are disappearing.
What a nerd.
1 down, 6 to go. After defeating Archaon, I decided to close the Chaos portal that he used to teleport here. To do this, we had to complete a moderately challenging battle against Demons of Khorne. But after we beat the teenage angst out of them, we were able to close the portal and claim a reward. I took this ridiculously strong sword that will probably corrupt my mind and turn me into a sadistic lunatic, and I'm okay with that. In fact, each type of portal seems to give you a different reward. Khorne gives you access to extremely powerful items. Nurgle gives all of your armies poison attacks and attrition resistance. Tzeentch provides empire-wide buffs and removes fog of war. And finally, Slaanesh gives you laughably high casualty replenishment and empire growth at the cost of spreading their filthy, filthy corruption. This reward mechanic isn't very narratively important, but I think it's a nice touch, and I like it. Anyway, our next target was Sigvald, accidentally. You see, I tried closing this other Chaos portal, but I fell into it and got teleported directly to Sigvald's femboy empire, an empire which was remarkably unprepared for blimp supremacy. I felt bad shooting such a beautiful man to death, but dare I say, he looks even better now.
Oh, that's the guy with like the thigh cutouts. I was like, he looks familiar. That name's familiar. It's the guy with the thigh cutouts. I can't believe like we're on a twink massacre right now. Fuck, dude. That portal's crazy! Oh man, nope. It's the guy with the assless chaps. Who designed him? I just want to. We just gotta talk. Who designed them?
At this point, Azazel's forces were starting to invade from the north. It took them only 2 turns to kill all of Kislev, and I really don't like the way they're looking at me. Most of my main armies have been dispatched across the world to hunt down Chaos Generals, so I'm stuck defending my territory with these micro-armies. They looked good on paper, but suddenly I feel unprepared. Anyway, the fastest way for me to stop this will be to kill Azazel, so I sent 2 armies up the river to look for him, and we didn't have to look very hard because he attacked us on the next turn. It's not looking good, but what the auto-resolve seems to be forgetting is that this is my main tank regiment, and as it turns out, no amount of horniness can protect you from having your limbs blown off in an explosion. And furthermore, Azazel's tactic of throwing himself under my tank treads was questionable at best.
We can just run him over? Oh my god, we're just fucking running him over with a tank. That's insane. I want to play this mod now. I didn't realize we could commit vehicular manslaughter in like Total War Warhammer. I love this. Oh man.
Azazel defeated and his ecstatic legion in disarray, we've bought ourselves some time. For my next magic trick, I will be making Valkia the Bloody disappear. I took Blimp Boy through the Chaos Portals again and managed to land right next to her. She had a lot more units than me, but she's having a very hard time getting them through this choke point while I drop bombs on it. This is
If you guys didn't understand that one reference, my social credit in the fucking toilet, dude. My social credit is so over.
what we call a skill issue. Anyway, Valkia was absolutely seething at the fact she forgot to bring ranged units to a blimp battle, so I had free reign to basically do whatever I want. With her defeated, we just have 3 to go: Kolek, Wulfric, and Village. Speaking of Village, his faction is absolutely mopping the floor with the Chinese, as evidenced by the fact I am looking at a map of Cathay with only 1 Cathayan settlement. Anyway, I sent Gelt and Dogburglar through a portal to chase Village down, but he got the drop on us at Dragon's Gate, and it's not looking so good. We did our best with the basic infantry, but they're remarkably squishy and don't hold up so well against return fire. Also, this creature exists and is doing horrible, horrible things to anyone unlucky enough to survive the enemy's ranged attacks. I tried everything: magic, bombs, even tried burning it like an ant with this high-powered magnifying glass.
Hey, that's so cool.
Our winning streak was officially over. I suppose it's true what they say: don't send a boy to do a blimp's job. By abusing the very same chaos portals the demons created, I was able to teleport my blimp army directly into the heart of Village's kingdom.
He said don't send a boy to do a blimp's job, right? But what if he's a man? What if he's a boy in a man's world and he's about to be manhandled? If you get that reference, we have the same brain rot. That's what the blimp is for? True! The blimp man. Chat, I want to play the dwarves now because apparently they have fucking blimps. They have fucking blimps. I want like all the blimps, bro.
And thanks to some questionably balanced units, we were back in the win column, but our territory was still beset by a bunch of miscellaneous freaks, and they're starting to corrupt the environment, which is itself spawning rebel armies. But that's alright, there's just Kolek and Wulfric left. I actually found Wulfric in a very vulnerable position on my northern shores. Alone, and with almost no troops under his command, I dispatched 4 of my militias to deal with him, but perhaps sensing the noose tightening, he, let's just say, deleted himself.
What?
I don't know why, but he was there one turn and dead the next. You can blame it on a freak accident or a bad horoscope, but personally, I don't care. On to Kolek. In case you couldn't tell, Kolek is fairly dangerous. He wields a hammer the size of 6 grown men, and I have personally never seen him cry even once. We attacked him just outside of Cathay with what's left of our army. We have about 5 units of riflemen, a few blimps on life support, and whatever random regiments of renown I could anxiously recruit before the battle. Kolek's army was composed of 5 units of hell cannons, and basically everyone else was some variation of a person who would like to crush your skull beneath their bare foot. The battle was on, and I breathed a sigh of relief because my siege weapons had longer range than his. But as it turns out, Kolek must be a top because he did not appreciate being pounded. It's all the same to me though, because with his cannons destroyed, I can now safely deploy my blimps into the...
Is Reggie a bottom?
Oh. Okay, so I guess I missed one. Anyway, after a little more shelling, we were back on track. Colex beasts closed the gap on my gun line very quickly, probably because we were having a hard time aiming while being struck by lightning. After 10 minutes, all of my units were dead, except for a couple of heroes and a blimp which has 230 health. Kolek was still running around hammering my artillery crews into the ground, but eventually Balthazar Gelt killed him by transmuting his body into lead. The blimps may have also helped with this physical transformation. After leaving the battle, we were greeted with an ultimate victory screen. By using trench warfare, chemical weapons, and generally unfair units, we were able to usher in an age of peace. Truly, the world can move forward and live in harmony. Wait, no. We still have unfinished business. In the end, perhaps I was the endgame crisis all along. Alright, big thank you to this month's patrons, and finally, thank you for watching. And also, thank you to War Thunder. You can check out the game using the link in the description or the pinned comment below to receive all this cool stuff. Alright, that's all. See you later.
Okay, hold up. I got a DM stim right now. I have a DM stim. Where is she? Stim. Do you wanna do a co-op T3 stream? I would like to play the funny dwarves. How do you spell? I don't know how to spell dwarves with blimps. I definitely don't know how to spell dwarves. Oh, I spelled that so wrong. Oh, you guys are typing the actual spellings right now? And I'm telling you, it was so... You know, it's okay. I think she understands. I think emotionally she will understand. Because fighting a player people... No! I'm gonna play the class that has 6 fucking helicopters and blimps, bruh. I'm gonna say orcs. Do the orcs have helicopters? Didn't think so. Man! How did you spell it? D-R-A-W-F-E-S. It was so off, but it's okay. I think she gets it, so it's okay. The orcs have no technology and no bitches. See, I believe that. I believe that. Close enough. I don't know how to spell. I woke up this morning and decided, oh yeah, we're not spelling right today. We're like absolutely not spelling right. Oops.